George and Cindy Anthony take to the airwaves, finally revealing what they say really happened to explain away the death and disappearance of their granddaughter, little Kelly. And right at the outset, let me just say that having met George and Cindy Anthony, I found them to be two of the warmest people I've ever met, who truly and deeply love Kelly, their granddaughter, to this very day. Out to Gene Casares, a lot of what they said, Gene, extremely surprising in their attempts to rationalize all of this. For instance, that Top Mom has a brain tumor. She had a CAT scan after one of her first seizures, and it revealed absolutely none of this.
Cindy says that she believes Casey is a victim in all that. That is what she said. That's what she believes. It's based on these medical conditions, issues. But 2007 is what she's talking about. Casey went into the hospital because of a seizure, quote unquote. Jesse Grunn, she was with at the time. She was there for 3 days. They didn't find anything.
But what I don't understand, I'm going to go to Dr. Patricia Saunders on this. Our whole panel is taking your calls. Dr. Saunders, another one of the explanations that George and Cindy have is postpartum schizophrenia. Now, I'm just a lawyer, all right? I'm a JD. You're the MD. You're the shrink. So does that postpartum depression plus schizophrenia equals postpartum schizophrenia? I've never heard of that before.
Well, because there is no such thing. I think Cindy was probably talking about postpartum psychosis, which is very, very rare. Less than 1% of women have it. And when they have it, it doesn't just last for a day or two. You cannot miss it. People are floridly psychotic, and it lasts for months.
Whoa, they're what? They're floridly psychotic? What's that?
That means that they hear voices, they see things, they hear the voice of God commanding them to do things.
Dr. Pat, I like you, but don't throw any of those terms out there at me without explaining it to me. What is floridly psychotic?
It means that she'd be crazy as a bedbug. Nobody could miss it. And it would last for weeks, if not months. She'd have to be hospitalized.
Okay, let me tell you something, Dr. Saunders. You know, having prosecuted felonies of the ilk of murder, rape, child molestation, arson for so many years, I thought that I knew insanity when I saw it. For instance, I'd get an inmate that would, for instance, poop, defecate at the lunchroom and then smear it on the wall of the jail. You know, to me, that's crazy. Or I had one inmate, one defendant, that tried to pull his own eyes out of his head. I guess that's what you're saying is floridly psychotic. Is that a layman's description? Okay, now I get it. To Steve Helling, staff writer, People Magazine, author of Outrage, the Casey Anthony story, and I, for one, can vouch that Helling was in court every single day. What do you make of what George and Cindy have told Dr. Phil?
You know, we've heard different stories for the past 3 years, and now we're hearing brain tumors and grand mal seizures, and if any of that were true, it would have come up, you were there, Nancy, it would have come up in the first day of trial, and it never did. So I just can't believe that any of it's true.